This was the final week of Perspective 2. I continued working with some boxes and shapes, and I also started reading Creative Perspective by Ernest Watson. And I took some notes and copied some drawings. Last week I read about ellipses on RapidViz, and I think that the pointers I got there made my ellipses better, so continuing on that vein, I drew some cubes with ellipses and also those concentric circles in perspective to get more confident with them. I then watched the second video from lesson 6 of Draw a Box, and I drew along with it. Then I moved on to finish the views exercise from RapidViz. I also went back really quickly to the one I had skipped last week, but once I had done the other ones, this looked really trivial and was super easy to finish. I continued with the lessons from Draw a Box. I drew this barrel that I made a little too long and squished, but then with the computer mouse, it was very interesting because the lesson worked with the orthogonal views to get to the perspective. And I thought it was quite nice and straightforward, so probably the work I have done with RapidViz has helped me there. As part of this lesson's homework, we were supposed to do some shape intersections, so I worked on them. This time, instead of feeling uninspired and, drawing the shapes and then figuring out the intersections, I decided to get some inspiration from other people's works. So I searched some images and analyzed them. And then I closed my computer because I did not want to copy any particular example, but I had an idea about what I wanted to do. I had the memory of some intersections that I had thought were interesting. So, for example, I'll get a cube and a long cylinder and put a pyramid in a box. And it was better. It was a lot more fun to work like this because I had an idea about what I wanted to accomplish with the exercise and what I wanted to do. After that, I started drawing some everyday objects, and I wasn't very happy with how they turned out because I felt my construction was not strong at times. For example, for this picture, I decided to draw an ellipse inside an inclined plane to build the correct curve here, but in the end, the proportions were all wrong. So when I decided to draw a coffee maker, I first drew the side view, and it was easier to keep the whole piece within the proportions when working the perspective. I drew rather small here, but I was happy with that. I also drew this tape dispenser based on an illustration from Watson's book to practice with some guides and shapes. Also this one from Watson. And this cube, just looking at it and working on a whole lot of divisions to get to this stair-like configuration. And then I decided to redo the picture that I had done previously. So first I worked on the side view to figure out the proportions, and then I made the perspective. You can't really see super well from the video, I guess, but I did create a base here and then a division with a side plane where I drew the side view. And then I put things together to make it 3D. It got very messy with all the subdivisions, so later I went over the drawing with a big thick pencil to make the picture more evident. In general, I think this was a good week. I studied a bit with Watson's book and worked on some shapes intersections in a way that I felt was more fun and productive, and got to use some of the work I had done with orthogonal views to build objects. So I'm okay with my progress this unit, even if I did not do all of the recommended work. I am happier taking a slower pace with perspective, and I will get ready now for the next unit, which is Anatomy 2, before I get back to another round of perspective next month. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.